Welcome back to Database DevOps from start to finish. Right now, we are in the Building a New Database section. In this lesson, we're going to be creating the views to support our database. Now, in fact, we're only going to create one view because we want to keep this as simple as possible and not go overboard. So let's close out of our tables and right-click on our views and say Add New Item. Actually, let's go to a view itself. That just gets us there a little quicker. New item would do is to find the view once we did that. So this view name is going to be called Primary Phone View. Or maybe Person Primary Phone View. Now whether you put view in the name or not is up to you. I'm doing it here because I find that way you don't step on the toes of an existing table. So we have our statement here, which is just T-SQL at this point. There's no visual designer for this. But it says create view. It has the view name that we've selected as, and then it says select star from some table or view. I find it's a little bit humorous the way I did that. Let's modify our statement here to have a different select statement. So select, I'm going to do star from DBO dot, notice I get IntelliSense right away, which is really convenient. So I'm going to say person. Let's give it a name of P. And then I'm going to do a join. Now the join here is going to be up for debate whether we do an inner join or a left join. I think we're going to do a left join on left join DBO dot, and my options here are location visit, but I want phone number, so PH on P dot ID equals PH dot person ID. So that's going to be our join here, and then I'm going to do a where clause and say where PH dot primary phone number equals 1. Now the other option here is I could do an and up here and do my statement like this. So I could say right in the join, only join if the primary number is 1 and they match IDs. I think I'll probably do that. It makes a little more sense. It keeps those two things together. So you only bring over things where we have a match and where it's a primary phone number. So what this will do is it will only give me the primary phone number for a person, which means we don't have duplicate records then, where we have, Tim Corey and my cell phone, Tim Corey and my home phone, Tim Corey and my business phone. We just have Tim Corey and my primary phone, and that'll be it. Now, if you don't have any phone numbers listed, none selected that are primary, then it'll be null for that field. Now up here, if you notice, we have star, but it has an underline, that's a red underline saying you got a problem here. Well, that's because I'm not saying P dot star, which P dot star will allow me to say everything from the person table. Now P is an alias. But P dot star, that's not really great to do it that way because of the fact that you may be bringing over more columns than you need, and those columns could change as we change our table. So let's refactor this to use our full column names. So first name, last name, date of birth, and email address from the person table. But I don't want to remember those and type them in. So if I do P dot star and then right click and say refactor, I'm going to use the fully qualified names or the expand wildcards. I'm going to use expand wildcards. And it gives me this option that says, okay, here's what it looks like right now, but then it's going to look like P.ID, comma, P.first name, P.last name, P.date of birth, and P.email address. Cool, works for me. So now I have the 5 columns in place, but I say, you know what? For this query, really don't care about the ID. That's cool. Get rid of that. But I do want at the end of this, I want ph dot, I want my phone number for the from the phone number table if it exists. So now with this view, we have everything we need for a person, including their primary phone number if they have one. So you have to know a little T-SQL to write this versus a drag and drop view, but otherwise it has IntelliSense in here, which is nice and allows you to make some modifications, such as expanding out those wildcards to be the equivalent in columns. That's really helpful for then making modifications. Oops, I have a comma there. So, and that's probably why my IntelliSense didn't work. So I was over here and I said dot and then ph dot, and I got no IntelliSense. But if you do comma ph dot, there's IntelliSense. So if you don't get IntelliSense, ask the question why. So there's our phone number. So there is our view, and I put it in the views folder. Again, it doesn't matter where I put it. If I wanted to group things based upon logical sections, so people information, meaning people views, people stored procedures, people tables, be in one folder, you could do that. It would be confusing, but you could do that. Okay, let's save this. And now we have our view. I'm not going to create more views because I don't see the real need for it at this point, since this is all a view is. There's no extra information to cover. So let's leave it here with views, and we'll move on to stored procedures.